kids addicted, no check and balances. Like, what do we need to do to get, these platforms, Meta, whatever, kind of like when you go into a store to buy alcohol or cigarettes, you get carded. But there's no safeguard like that when it comes to these addictive platforms. We have countries banning it, but I mean, how feasible is that, Mohit?
Yeah, you bring up some great points. These are profitable by design, and for years they've said, well, we don't make the content, so the duty of care is on the parents and the people actually using these apps. And that's no longer the case. The duty of care should be held on the social media companies that were held liable in this situation. The other thing is, this is the attention economy, and so these products were being built on the backs of kids that didn't necessarily know that a lot of their information was being used to make better products. And so in the US, for example, we see up to 2,000 similar cases that are already starting for social media companies, because their day of reckoning is coming. We are no longer in a place where we, even as adults who have used social media as kids, we got to admit to ourselves that there's something addictive about these platforms. And so it'll be interesting to see how this duty of care actually transcends. Naturally, we don't have any Canadian laws right now that prohibit social media companies for doing certain things, but it'll be interesting to see this ripple effect.
Yeah, you talk about duty of care. Some people are going to be watching this and maybe, paying close attention to this, Mohit, and see that one of the, people, in this case here said that she was using, I think, YouTube for 16 hours a day as a child. Some people are going to say, where are the parents in this, letting a child use a device for 16 hours a day? Where does that duty of care come in? How much could that factor into that? There's a parental responsibility as much as there is a tech responsibility.
100%. I've raised my kids in the digital generation, and I know for a fact that we're no longer in a situation where we can just let tech and media companies sort of have one place and have our kids in another and know that they won't mix. The other thing is that social media isn't just one thing anymore. Yeah. For every one app that was successful at doing something like this, there's been foreign apps that have come and gone as well and have caused just as many problems. I think what we have to go back to is that in the US, they're litigating. In the UK, for example, they're regulating. But in Canada, we're only debating. So where are the rules here domestically that are going to prevent lawsuits like this from happening? Or if they do go ahead, what is the actual process? Because we do need some accountability in this country as well. Watching the US and the world take over on this is a good learning lesson.
Yeah, and just want to reiterate that Kaylee